Joining us now, Ben Cline. He was a House of Delegates member. Now, Ben is a congressman-elect from Virginia's 6th district. That is kind of what is that? It's kind of Roanoke and Lynchburg, goes out there a little bit southwest, kind of in between the 5th and the 9th. Pretty big landmass. Ben Cline with a big victory on Tuesday. Congressman-elect Ben Cline, great to have you, man.
John, thanks for having me. It's always good to be on the show.
You were a sea of cheer in an otherwise Virginia debacle, losing the 7th, the 2nd, and the 10th, your caucus shrinking by 3. Ben, how did you pull off this victory?
Well, it was a great team effort. We had a great team. It was a grassroots effort. We talked about the issues that were important to the voters. We talked about jobs. We talked about the economy, the great job that our president's doing, cutting taxes and spurring manufacturing growth. But we also talked about the need to have immigration reform and the need to make sure that we have energy reform so that we're energy independent, not relying on Middle East dictatorships. So we talked about the issues that were important to the voters, and they hurt us, and there was never a more broad choice between me and my opponent. I mean, my opponent was Bernie Sanders, socialized medicine. She was all about how much the government can get involved in your life and take more of your money and make more decisions for you. And I'm more about freedom and liberty and opportunity, and the voters chose freedom.
Well, and they chose it big. So first, let me say happy Veterans Day to all you veterans out there. And we always love celebrating Veterans Day. And secondly, Ben, congratulations on a great victory. And that race was never in doubt. I know you never stopped working. And even though you were 10 up, you ran like you were 10 down. And it really showed on Tuesday night, right?
Well, that's what you got to do. And my colleagues in Virginia, Morgan Griffith came through with a huge victory, 65-35, just put a whumping on his opponent, and Rob Whitman did a great job. And Denver Riggleman, who's going to be a freshman with me, is I'm so proud of him and pleased that he's going to be there alongside fighting for liberty and fighting for freedom. And those districts where the Democrats may have temporarily won a seat, there was a lot of talk, just like the Democrats are talking now, about how, Virginia's changing, and, we're taking over, and, this is a permanent situation. And his name was Tom Perriello. And 2 years later, he was gone. So I think as long as we keep talking about what Republicans stand for, I think we'll be able to win several of those seats back in 2 years.
I really hope so. Look, if you look at the 7th, Abigail Spanberger is a really great candidate, probably the best candidate maybe the Democrats put up in the United States for the House of Representatives. Ben as a challenger. That's going to be tough to win back just because of changing demographics of that district. Chesterfield going Republican now for the second cycle straight, as you know, and the lead for the Democrats in Henrico getting bigger. So that's going to be tough. The 2nd district, look, Scott Taylor should never have lost that race. And he did by making mistakes. And it's a self-inflicted wound. So I see that as probably the biggest potential pickup you have. Spanberger is just going to be really tough to beat. She raised $12 million. She'll raise it again. So she's going to be tough. Let's get to your new role, Ben. Talk about that a little bit. What you're going to have to make is who to vote for minority leader, Jim Jordan or Kevin McCarthy or others that may run. Have you made a commitment there, or do you lean one way or the other?
Well, right now I'm anxious to get up there and meet my colleagues, and I've spoken to McCarthy and Jordan both during the campaign. They were both very helpful, and so I'm looking forward to joining the Freedom Caucus and working to make our caucus more conservative and stand up for the values that we campaigned on. Voters don't want to send us up there to, talk one way during the campaign and then vote another way on bills when we get there. So I'm anxious to get up there and lead the conservative charge alongside Mr. Jordan and Mr. McCarthy, and and other members of the Freedom Caucus like Morgan Griffith.
So, Congressman-elect Ben Cline, would it be safe for me to then assume, if you're joining the Freedom Caucus, which is one of the things that you pledged in your campaign, and I appreciate your following through on that, would it be safe to then make the assumption, if you're joining the Freedom Caucus, you're likely to back Jim Jordan for Minority Leader?
Well, I want to back the person who's going to lead us to the majority. And so Jim Jordan has done a great job with the Freedom Caucus. He was one of the founders. And Meadows, I think, is the chairman of the caucus now.
Right.
So I'm anxious to talk to him. I haven't gotten the chance to talk to him yet as well. But no, I'm anxious to get up there and meet my colleagues, and we're going to do that this week in orientation, and hopefully get on the path to making Nancy Pelosi a one-term speaker.
Well, we call her right now Rena Speaker. You know, Ben, when you look at this politically, we're with Ben Cline, Congressman-elect Ben Cline, newly elected Republican congressman from the 6th District of Virginia, replacing the retiring Bob Goodlatte, who was the chairman of the Judiciary Committee. Congressman-elect Cline, when you look at the makeup of this, you have 202 seats in the House that the Republicans won. The way I see it is I don't see any of those at risk with Trump on the top of the ticket in 2020. I don't see any, because it's like the Democrats really picked off everything that they were likely to win up and down. Now, they had some upsets, like, you could call the second in Virginia was an upset. I think pretty much people expected that Barbara had a tough re-election ahead of her because of that situation in Northern Virginia. But I don't see a single Democratic gain in the 202 seats that you have. The Democrats have an 11-seat majority. Of those 11 seats, there's 15 seats that Democrats won where Trump carried the district in 2016. So I could really see a scenario where the Republicans take the House back immediately. No?
Absolutely. I think we got nowhere to go but up from this setback with Trump on the ballot. The reason that we lost 15 House seats last year in the Virginia House was because the Democrats turned out and they were mad, and Republicans didn't turn out. And we needed the folks who supported Trump to get reengaged in an off year. This year we did better. We turned out halfway between normal midterm and presidential term numbers, but we still need to do better. And with Trump on the ballot, I think we've got nowhere to go but up, and we will win back the majority in 2 years. And it'll be a more conservative majority because we had a lot of retirements of moderate members. A lot of moderate members got beat in the general. So I think we've got great opportunity to set ourselves on the right course if we can just articulate, in a positive way where we want to take the caucus, where we want to take the country, and that's what we've been doing at the state level. We've been trying in our conservative caucus, and what our Freedom Caucus needs to do as well.
Well, look, I'm glad you're there, and I know, Ben, having worked with you a long time, you're going to shake things up, and you're going to stand true to your values, as you have always done. And I look forward to you being a regular guest on our show so you can tell our listeners week to week exactly what is going on there, because that's one of the things that make our show unique is we like to let people know what exactly is happening. And that's not always easy to do in the swamp. Once you get there, you're going to find out. If you think it's swampy now, wait till you get there, man. It's unbelievable what you're going to run into, the lobbyists that come into your office every day and everything else that goes on. But we look forward to you being there. If I may, can I digress here, get to your House race? There's, 5 or 6 people competing now in a special election in order to replace Ben Cline in the House of Delegates in Virginia. Anybody in there that you have backed or that you like or that you would like to see win, or are you staying out of it?
I'm staying out of it. We've got several good candidates who are smart and would do the region proud if elected. I think there are some who have not been as involved in politics, and so you got to ask some questions about their positions on the issues. And those, I know we're having there's going to be a forum on Wednesday night in Buena Vista, and it's going to be at the VFW Hall and at 7 o'clock. So I think it's going to be broadcast on the internet, and so I would encourage folks, if they're listening in my region, to go ahead and listen in, because I think we'll learn some things about where the candidates stand on the issues and what their backgrounds are. They've got very diverse backgrounds, and who would best serve the 24th district, because the 24th is made up of very involved constituents. They want their delegate to get in there and mix it up. So hopefully they will choose someone who does.
Congressman-elect Cline, I'm not that familiar with the 24th district geographically. Buena Vista, is that a central point of the district?
It is. It's shaped like a cross, and it's in the southern part of the Shenandoah Valley. So you've got Bath County with the Homestead on the west side, Rockbridge in the middle, Augusta, just the southern tip of Augusta to the north, and then Amherst east over the Blue Ridge. So Buena Vista's right in the middle, right next to 81.
All right, so I should probably go down there right on Wednesday and see if I can carry that forum live on the radio so everybody has an opportunity to get access to these candidates, right?
You would be first in line and get the best seat in the house. I'll see to it.
All right, I'll do that. When we get off air, just tell me who with the VFW to call, and I will try to set that up today. And probably what we'll do is, if that's Wednesday night, right, we'll probably do our show then down there the following day, somewhere in the middle of the district, get some of the candidates on so we can shed as much transparency to the special election. When is it? The speaker called for it mid-December?
The actual election between the Republican nominee and the Democrat is December 18th. That's the Tuesday before Christmas. Christmas is on Tuesday. And but the Firehouse primary is this Saturday. So they are moving fast. Voters have less than a week to figure out their candidates. We just had one enter the race over the weekend. So, a week-long Firehouse primary is a little too short in my view, but I'm not making the rules. So, we'll see how it goes, and hopefully the voters will be fully informed.
All right, so we understand for the 24th district, there is a Republican and Democratic, I guess, right? A Firehouse primary, which means, so that everybody knows what a Firehouse primary is. That isn't like every precinct. There's only select precincts you can turn out and vote, and it's within a certain period of time. What's the time like?
11 to 4.
11 to 4. So if you come at 10 too early, you come at 5 too late. So 11 to 4, you have to find what the polling place is. That will then select two nominees, and then they will square off in the actual election on December 18th. And then the election is like normal. It's a special, but it's all of the precincts within that area, and they'll be open from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. like always. But first they have to do selections, and the Republican selection and the Democrat for their nominees will be on Saturday this week. So I'm going to do that for them. We can talk on that offline after that. Now, you go for your orientation this week, as I understand it, Ben?
That's right. We're packing up to go this week to orientation, and it's. I think I've got my high waders packed for the swamp, and we'll be get our first introduction to how bad it's going to be.
Well, I know you stand tall, and I didn't really understand it until I was up there every day. That's where I live during the week. And until you're there and you're in it, you don't really understand how much money is involved and how Wall Street's influence is. I mean, it's incredible. But you'll find out, and I'm sure after you've figured out, you'll stand firm just like you always do. Congressman-elect Ben Cline, really thanks for being with us. Happy Veterans Day. We look forward to having you on every week, and I'll definitely be there on Wednesday.
John, thanks. Look forward to it.
All right. Congressman-elect Ben Cline going to Washington, going to fight the swamp.